Welcome, everybody, to the Sales Unscripted podcast. Sup? My name is Bryan Neal.
And I'm Margaret Henny.
You didn't know I was going to do that, did you?
No, you caught me
Hey, we're
off
here,
guard.
our first recording session after our big launch party, which was just the bomb. Thank you so much to everybody that showed up. And for those of you who didn't, you missed a huge fun party. We had a blast.
We're going to have another
great
one.
interaction. We're going to have another one. If you're in or around the state of Indiana, we were just talking about how much we love our state.
Love
and
it.
What a great time. We're going to do it, we think, we didn't say it right, in May. In May, we think
Yes.
around the Indy 500. So
Yes.
it's November, the whatever it is, right now.
Yeah.
So you have plenty of time to plan.
Yeah, lots of time. Good, because we need the time to plan, too.
And-
we literally just decided right before we started recording.
Don't you think anyone who, it doesn't matter, because race car sounds so boring and weird,
Totally.
doesn't it?
No, I completely understand. And I've asked many, many people, hey, have you ever been to the Indy 500?
Yeah.
And they usually say, I'm not really a race fan.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I also would not call myself a race fan unless it's the Indy 500 and then I'm like a massive fan because I
Truth.
love it. It is a cultural
It is.
phenomenon. It is one of the coolest. It is the largest single day sporting event in the world.
It is.
What?
It
I mean, let
is.
me blow your mind. It's huge. There's this funny quote because one time Derek and I ran into these people who were in town for the Indy 500. They were from California.
Yeah.
And this guy had had a couple drinks, but he was waxing poetic about it, which I was eating up.
I like.
And he was like, what did he call it? He was like, the tradition, the pageantry, the Americana. And I was like, Derek looked at me and was like, you are dead. You are eating out of this man's hand.
Totally,
And I was like,
totally.
yes, let's
Me
go.
likey.
But it's true. The pageantry, the tradition, the Americana.
Now it's
Gotta come.
November, so we've got a long way to go.
We do.
And everyone listening, just kind of mark out May. Listen to SUP, listen to Sales Unscripted podcast,
Stay with
and
us.
stay with us. And it's probably not going to be on the race day itself, but there are
No.
some events before that. You
Yeah.
come in early, then you stay for the race, and you stay at Margaret's house. Be great.
So much
Right?
room. Yeah. Tons
Well, you
of
do
room.
have some room. Yeah. As you said, as you recorded the last podcast, that my house is more than your house because you've, what'd you say?
I think I said you make more than me.
Oh, you make more than me because I've
know
seen your
what?
house.
Okay, but
I
however,
just have more debt than you do. That's the
Afterwards, you were like, Margaret. But then I thought about it. But here's the thing: you have like 3 jobs.
I do have 3 jobs.
I've got one. I was
I have
like
3 good paying jobs.
Yeah, I was like, you
Very
should
good.
make more than me and have a bigger house.
And I'm also
because
like 15 years older than you. So
it was
it is
not
funny.
supposed to be a jab at all. It was.
Oh,
like,
I didn't take it that way.
You
It was
work
just funny.
Butt off,
I'm like, huh?
man.
Everybody does. We all do. Yeah. And you know what? Like
Yeah.
I said, no one's checking their Chase app and their deathbed.
No.
Nobody's checking it. What a great segue. Money.
Oh yes,
How
because we're
about
talking
that?
about economics.
We didn't even think about that.
Look how fluid we are.
Thank
we're
you.
getting better.
The launch party, just have to say it again, was so
Yeah.
fun, wasn't it?
It was such a
It's
blast.
Such a great crowd and such good energy.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so much fun and we were DJing and we had a huge screw up with the technology before we started that we saved that nobody knew.
You saved it. I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. But
It was actually a very small little issue, but I didn't know it. And so it was resolved. But man,
you did a great job thinking.
essentially
on your
it's kind of like having
good.
a pulled pork cookout without pork.
Yeah.
It's kind of what it was. If you've ever, you know what I'm talking about. It's
You're
like,
what
hey,
are
you
we
guys
gonna
want to
do
come to the
here?
wine tasting? But it's a problem. We forgot
We
the
don't have the
wine.
wine.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
kind of
know.
like that. But we fixed it.
But it worked out, and I have to say too, I'm
Yeah.
like, it was a lot of like friends, fans,
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
alliteration. But what I loved about it is like I was nervous.
You were.
and I was nervous because I care.
Yes.
But everyone was so supportive, and I kept
Yes.
telling myself that I'm like, people here want you to do well.
They
like
do.
no one was here being like, I can't wait to see Margaret fall on her face.
Nobody.
And
Not a
I had to
soul.
keep reminding myself that. But like we just had such awesome people
It
that
was
were
really
there.
fun.
So thank you guys.
Me likey.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna segue into. By the way, happy birthday.
Dude, I knew you were gonna bring
I
this
know.
shit up.
Well, and you know what? Now here's why.
Uh-huh.
Because I love birthdays and you don't.
I hate them.
I love birthdays, and I tell everyone when
know.
it's my birthday, and when my friends tell me it's theirs, I love and celebrate them. So
Okay.
I made Margaret a little video, and she said, so I made her a Zoom video, customized Zoom video. I thought was thoughtful, picked one of her favorite songs, recorded a Zoom, did I not?
Yes.
Sent it over, Zoom
laughing.
link, texted it to my friend Margaret, my podcast partner, my compadre, my person, and send it over. Super thoughtful, birthday. She responds back, did you mean to send this to me? Did you mean to send this to me? I'm going, Jesus, what the fuck? Like,
Okay, I myself.
Yes,
Wait,
you
let me
think?
let me explain myself.
I'm ready.
Let me
I'm
explain
ready.
myself. Here's why. One, because I do not like my birthday. I don't tell people about it. I don't really celebrate it that much. In fact, my closest friends know to not even call it my birthday. They call it celebrate Margaret Living Day.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they won't
I
even
would
call
have
it my
done
birthday.
that.
No,
That's
it's not
funny.
that big.
That's funny.
So, but you sent me the Zoom link.
I did.
With no password.
Right.
So
Via text.
It was password protected. And you sent
Right.
it to me. And I was like, first of all, I was like, am I supposed to be on a meeting right now? I was like, I'm supposed to be on a Zoom with Bryan and I didn't know it. And he's calling me out, well, not with an email, but with a text. I was like, I really missed the ball here. And so I tried to click on it. It needed a password. And so I was like, did you mean to send this to me? And then you gave me the password and I looked at it and I was like, this is the most thoughtful thing. And I was like, I sounded like a huge asshole.
It was perfect. It was because at first when I got your response, I'm like, oh my God, she hates her birthday.
It wasn't.
Like you kind of said, and I'm like, yeah, I meant to send. So then I'm worried. Did I send you the wrong Zoom link? Like, did I send you a Zoom link to like a 2-hour training session with a trucking company?
Here, watch this on
like,
your
why'd
birthday.
you send this to me, dude?
No.
So it's funny. Well, happy birthday. I know you don't
Thank
like it,
you.
so we'll call
You're
it
very
Happy
sweet.
Margaret Living Day.
Yay.
So bravo to you.
Thank you.
I'll tell you when mine is. I
when
love
is
my
it?
birthday, December 11th, coming up.
Oh,
Couple weeks.
December
couple
the
weeks.
11th.
Sag. You're not Sag, are you?
No, I'm a
You're right at the
Scorpio.
edge. You're a Scorpio. Yeah.
Scorpio.
On the edge. What's Derek?
Well, he's in January. I don't know what that is. Aquarius? He's January the
so.
15th.
Okay. Yeah, is that Aquarius? I think it is.
Aquarius?
Yeah,
I'm
and
making
Steph
that up.
is, what's the Ram? Capricorn?
Don't know.
that right?
I don't know any of them
Aries?
except
She's
for
Aries.
and I don't even really know
Yours?
anything about signs, but for some reason I'm very attached to being a Scorpio. I don't know why, but I am. And people are always like, Scorpio season, Scorpio sister, and whatever. And so I'm like, yeah, let's go. I don't know
Those
anything about
listening who
it.
know a little bit about astrology,
Please tell us.
you're very aligned with a Scorpio. That's what we're saying. Look at your very, very much. I'm very Sagittarius too.
Oh,
very,
really?
Very chill, very funny, I'm not funny, but you know what I'm saying.
call
Like
you
very,
funny. You
very
can
loose,
say
very
that.
haha, yeah, jovial, jolly, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, we got to get
So
to our
much for our
topic.
transition.
Exactly. We
buried
ruined
that.
it. Okay, we're going to talk about money.
Money,
And I love that you
money.
said, so I'm going to let you set it up because you said, I will see if you say the same thing to me, to them that you said to me.
Well, I was like, hey, I would like to talk about economics.
Yeah.
And like everything that when you say, let's talk economics on a sales call, that entails like a lot of different things.
Yes.
Is that what the part that you want me to go into? Or
Yeah, well, you
about
said
why it
something
was
about-
on my mind?
You said something your sales team does
Yes.
that I was like, we need to talk about this.
Oh my God. And this is not meant to be a call out. It's
Nope.
just like, I love you guys.
It's everyone does this.
Everybody
not
does
just
it. It's
yours.
not just
And I
co-video.
coach them too, so we're
Okay.
both in the same boat
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Shame on the coach.
No, not you.
Seriously.
But I hear my team members do this a lot, and they will say, I'll send you pricing afterwards. I'm going to send you an email with pricing. And I'm over there going, no, don't have the phone. Like, you got more to
Don't have
talk
the
about.
phone.
I'm like freaking out at them. Like, don't wimp out. And wimp out is a really nice way of me saying it. I wanted to say something else.
I
but
know you did.
didn't. But I
it's so
understand not wanting to talk about it. Okay.
Yes.
Because it feels uncomfortable,
Yes.
especially for Midwesterners.
It does.
We're like, ooh, we don't want to talk about money. That's awkward. And then you got to put it out there. Like, oh, how are they going to react? How do I react? And also, I think one of the other things people is like, they get a little bit weird about doing math on the spot.
Oh, wow.
Dude, just do some math. It's cool.
Well,
But okay, so you tell me what you think about
well,
this.
I think it's a great topic. So if you're listening
Okay.
to this and you're thinking, oh gosh, I like hate these money conversations, or I do send just pricing over whatever. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do with all this? There's some hope. There's some hope, and you're in good company because everybody does this,
Yeah.
and everyone fears the money conversation. They just do.
Yeah.
Sidebar: when you do, next time you're around a Gen Z kid, like a 18 to 22 year old,
Because I'm around them so often.
Ask them to make. Do you still babysit? Nope. Do you-
Never babysat.
You never babysat? Oh, you didn't?
No. That's too much responsibility.
Is ask them to make a signal with their hand like they're on the phone.
I know
You
this,
know this?
one, and this is
It's
so funny because we're
hilarious.
like, "Hey, call me."
We all do the
and
so
they're
the
like,
the millennial elders and Gen Xers, we
Call
do
me,
this,
baby.
right? We do the hang loose from Hawaii. We call me. they hold their hand up like this, don't they? Like a palm,
Or
because
they'll
that's their
hold like a
Or they'll
brick.
hold, yeah, totally.
Like
Like I'm on the
this?
phone, like their phone. That's what they don't know this.
That makes me
They
feel
don't know,
so
right?
old.
Isn't it funny? It's so funny.
So old.
So all y'all listening and watching to this who are Gen Zs, you're making fun of us now because you know what we're
Because I was
talking
like,
about,
don't
right?
hang up the phone. Whatever.
It's like Aunt Margaret. I have an Aunt Margaret.
Do you?
She's not here anymore. It's like my mom's aunt. She's like really, really like one of our favorite people in our family. Always.
Did she go by Marge or Maggie
She went no
or
Aunt
Peggy?
Margaret. She was Aunt Margaret. Always Aunt Margaret. And she always would sit. She was a nun for a little while. And
Aunt
then
Margaret
wasn't a
sounds like
nun.
an
She does. She was
interesting
sister, and then she
lady.
left, and then never married. Lived with my great grandma, and then she died, and she just lived by herself and hung out with my grandma when my grandpa died. And
I
they
hope
just did
you're
life,
not
and they just
manifesting me
chilled. No. God,
being
no.
an old
And she
maid.
she would sit, and she died, and she's like near 90, but she would just sit with a glass of Chardonnay and just enjoy the company and talk. And
I
she
would
was
have
awesome.
loved to have partied
Great
with
human.
her.
Great human.
Especially over Chardonnay.
Okay, so let's talk about money. So, first of all, everybody does this. The reason we do it is because we've all been programmed in the United States. I don't know about other countries. We have been programmed as young kids all the way through high school, everywhere, to not talk about money. We are hardwired.
Yeah, it's like it's awkward.
Yes.
It's personal. It's none of your business.
Yes.
That you could say a million different things about it, but we're always like everybody tenses up.
Yes. Yeah, you want to like watch a room drop. Okay.
Yeah.
Next time you're with a bunch of friends and it's like kitchen talk, everyone's in the kitchen, say, oh, by the way, Margaret, I was going to ask you, how much do you make? Just say that.
Everyone
for
be
fun.
like,
Everyone will be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What just happened? Seriously. I gave a little talk to a small group about refereeing last night. There was a group, maybe 30 people. There's a woman there that I used to coach, actually, who I know, who's extremely direct. She raises her hand, and there's a bunch. It's like not strange. It was like at a country club thing, like so
Okay.
people knew each other but not well. Raises her hand. She's like, Brian, how much do referees make? Just like that. And the whole room's like, and I'm like, good question, Kelly. I said, I knew you were going to ask that because you're so direct. I just love you so much because you're so direct. I said, rookies make, this much and veterans make that much.
Yeah.
Whatever. See what I did? I didn't tell you.
You
the
didn't even
number,
say it. See? Affirmed.
So you got to understand this is what's going on. When it's pricing time, pricing conversation, you have this much stronger energy behind you that your parents taught you and our society taught you that you don't talk about money. And then you get a sales job, and guess what you have to do?
Got to talk about money.
Got to talk about money.
In fact,
Got it.
what we were talking about before we got on here too is like sometimes the earlier the better. Now, like there's a caveat to that, right? Because you're gonna time out. Okay,
I'm going to call time out. I'm going to take away your sometimes.
Okay.
Always. It's better to talk about money earlier.
Okay, but wait, can I actually push back on this
I'd
for a
love
second?
for you too. You want to call another timeout?
Yeah.
You want to trump my timeout?
Freaking time out.
You just teed me up. That was like a basketball tee. That wasn't a timeout.
No, this
That was
is a
like,
basketball
boom,
tee. You gotta-
boom. You go.
God, speaking of which, it's basketball season, and I am ready.
Are you a hoops chick?
Oh my God,
Not a
yes.
football person?
College basketball all day,
Oh,
baby.
no kidding.
Let's go Butler
I've lost
Bulldogs.
my love. I love Butler though. I love Butler.
Yeah. All right.
No
Okay.
better ticket in Indianapolis. If you're ever in Indianapolis, need to look for something to do. Go to a Butler
Come to
men's
Hinkle.
basketball game.
So
great.
Historic Hinkle
So
Fieldhouse.
great.
So here's the thing. And my caveat is talking about money before you've talked about like value. You know what I mean? Before
I'm
you've talked
with you.
about
Yep.
value, right? Where
Oh,
you're like,
I'm with you.
hey, it doesn't matter what the price is if you don't even know if this is going to work for you or not. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like that's what I mean about talking about it too early.
I'll give you that.
Thank you. Yes.
I'll give you that with another. I need to look this up. Gong has some stats on this.
Okay. They have great
Great
stats.
stats. We
The
love
best.
Gong. And I got to look these up. I'm pretty sure the close won versus close loss ratio is dramatically different when pricing and economics is discussed on the first call.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
I'm going to validate now your point. There needs to be some value exchange on the first call before you talk about pricing on the first call.
Like
Good on that?
those schmoes who will get on the call and
Yeah.
you're like setting it up, you're doing some discovery, and they're like, "Hey, forget all that. Tell me the price." You know,
Yes.
that's when you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, whoa, pump the
Yeah.
brakes, man!" Like,
And you can, I'm not a Scorpio, am I? Oh wait, yes I am. I'm Margaret the Scorpio. Sting, sting, sting. Pump
That's
the
my
brakes,
tail.
man. The thing to think about here, to start, is intrinsically within yourself, is to come to terms with all of these reactions to money are 100% opinions.
100%.
That's all they are. Correct?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if I say this microphone costs $900 and you go, holy shit, I'd never pay $900 for a microphone. And someone else would say, that's a hell of a deal for that. It's a great microphone. $900, it's worth every dime. Who's right?
And it's the same product too. Like
Right.
I have this, like when I was selling at Co-Video, I quote the very same price for the very same thing to two different people. And one person would say, are you kidding me? That's crazy. And the other person would say, oh my God, why are we even talking right
totally.
now? Let me sign up. Like
Totally.
we don't have to have this conversation. That's nothing.
Yes.
Same tool, same use cases, just different perspectives there. And so what I think is difficult to do, especially as someone who's an empath, is I got to take my own feelings out of it about either how okay, you're giving me a look. How
I didn't know you were an empath.
Bitch? No.
That sounds so empathetic or empathic than that does. You feel my feelings.
I feel like typically I'm vibing with somebody and I'm like, oh man, I feel like I have an idea about how they're going to react to what I'm saying.
Okay.
And so when I put it out there, I'm either like,
I see. Okay, I'll give you that. Yeah,
it costs
right.
this.
Right.
Pause for reaction.
Are you, but you don't take on the feelings of the world, just the person you're speaking with, or do you feel?
Yeah. No, the person I'm talking to.
Yeah, see, I think of an empath as someone who takes on the problems of like the whole world.
That's too much.
Okay, exactly. Right. One's
too many
enough.
problems.
Yeah. My problems are easy to take on. They're pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Yes, I agree with you 100% that we load this up with our own emotions.
Yeah.
And we make decisions on behalf of customers in our own mind. They're not going to think this is worth it. They're going to think this is too much. My voice cracks when I say the price. And they're just numbers. And like, who gives a shit? Like, the number's the number, and that's what it is, and that's what it is. And you know what else?
Oh, go ahead.
I don't want, if I'm selling you microphones and you think $900 is an absolute ridiculous price to pay for a microphone, I wouldn't want you to
That's okay.
pay me $900.
Yeah, you don't have to
I
pay
wouldn't
it.
want to put that pain on you. Like, you're going to be mad at me your whole life. And it just doesn't make any sense.
I would also say this is something that I struggled with. I think people do sometimes with price is say it and then just shut up.
Love it.
Just say it and like let them react rather than, even if it's quiet time's okay.
Yes.
Don't try to explain or the worst is some people will be like, but I can get you 30% off code.
Oh my God.
Like as soon as they say the price, they haven't reacted, they haven't said anything.
Barf.
And they're like, but
Perf.
you know what I mean? And I'm like, no, you're undervaluing or you're making an assumption that isn't actually true yet. You don't have any new information. Just put it out there and be quiet and see how they react. And then you can take the conversation from there. But otherwise, it's more of a monologue than a dialogue, right? Like, this is a conversation.
Well, that's fancy.
Thank you.
It's more of a monologue than a dialogue, isn't it? That's really good, Mark.
Let's go.
I love it. This is a, so we call that something. We call that let it hang.
Oh, I like that.
Let's let it hang. Let it hang. So how much is it? Yeah, so for that, with those things, is $36,000 a year. That's it.
That's let it hang,
like
baby.
And they're going to react. They will react.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, oh, okay, that's it. Or they're going to go, okay, a little more. Or they're going to go, holy shit.
Wow,
$36,000.
what? Yeah.
And you just deal with it, right?
And then you go
that's
from
what it
there.
is. That's it.
But don't make any assumptions about what they're going to say, what they think the value is. Just let it hang.
That's
I
it.
love that.
Yes.
Also, the only person that you feel like you're helping when you say, I'll send you the price afterwards, is you. You're trying to make yourself more
good.
comfortable.
That's so good.
And it's not about you. So it's okay to feel that discomfort as long as you're like, I'm just going to go ahead and push through it. Because also, guess what? Doesn't help you because then you don't get to see and feel their reaction and answer their questions and have follow-up and dialogue about it. Otherwise, you are cutting yourself off at the knees. You've got no information if you just send it to them blind to look at with no context, with no support. So you got to have that conversation live.
So good. You really have to soul search on this one. Look in the mirror. And you don't have to go to 4 days of therapy. Maybe you do.
Yeah.
I don't know. You just got to reframe your thinking about it. It's just money. Everybody's got an opinion of what is and isn't. And your job is to try to help others, and you charge for it because I'm a capitalist too, so you get paid, right? It's a good thing. And then that's it. That's
and it's
what you
okay
do.
to be uncomfortable about it.
Yes.
But you still got to do it.
Yeah. And the universe will inform you. Mm-hmm. So if you go too big, I've done that before. I went real big on like a keynote speaking gig to someone, And I was nervous inside. I was like trying to impress her and all this stuff. And like, how much is your speaking fee? And I'm like, threw out a number, and she's like, oh my God, that's like more than all these people that are super famous. And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, the value wasn't coming through. It wasn't. Yeah. So the universe told me not there yet. So then went back down to a really still nice number, and now it's like coming in. So I raised the price again.
Yeah.
So you feel it out, right? The universe will tell you.
What I also like about having that conversation if I'm thinking from the buyer's perspective, that shows me great transparency, and I have a lot of trust, because if that number is being pulled out of somebody's butt, like, behind the scenes, I'm like, is that made up?
Right.
Versus if someone confidently says, let's do a little bit of math here right now. In fact, look at my screen. I'm going to pull up a calculator, and we're going to look through where this is coming from, what the value is. We're going to do some multiplication, this, that, if you do annual, if you do monthly, whatever the cost may be, or the situation. If you're breaking it down for them in real time, they can follow you, and it all makes sense.
Yes.
Imagine trying to do that in an email.
Can't.
Good
You
grief.
can, but it's awful. Imagine receiving that as an email. You're like, come on, man. I don't need
If anything, you should do it with a video if you're not doing it.
There it is.
Let's
There it is.
go. If you're not, but better than that, do it live,
Would
in person.
Yes.
Not in person, but
Always
you know what I mean?
100%.
Over Zoom,
Just
blah,
talk
blah,
about
blah.
it. Just lighten it up. Lighten the money conversation up. Your life will get immensely better. I guarantee it. And then just work a deal. The last thing I'll say is don't let your ego get in front of your wallet. I've said that for years and years. Don't let your ego. That means you get close. Don't be so rigid. Well, it's $36,000 contract. Well, what about 35? Nope, sorry, it's 36. I'm like, take the deal at 35.
Yeah, that's just
You know what I
stupid.
mean? Just like take it. Get
Yeah.
Get a deal done, and then you deal with it later. So
The other thing, wait, I
Oh,
keep,
go ahead.
this
You
is-
can-
we
you
just
can
got a
last
lot
it.
to talk
No,
about,
go
I
ahead.
guess.
It's a good one.
The reason we say economics is because that's what you use on the call. You don't say, let's talk about price.
yes,
We're going to talk about economics. And the reason you say economics is because it's about value and investment as well, not just price. Price is price, it is what it is. But we're talking about where the value is, and also how that how do I want to say this? Like how this funnels out. Let's imagine what this is going to potentially get for you.
like ROI. Is that what you're looking
Yeah.
for? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
You're
you're
not
like,
supposed to say ROI though, according to Gong.
Is that
ROI is
true?
bad. Yeah, but I love economics. Encompasses everything.
Okay, great.
Their side, how they think about it. Our side, how much it costs, the investment. And then you just do math out loud with them. That's what I always say. Just do math out loud.
Yeah.
Right?
And I do it. I take my time because I was a theater major, not a math major. And I'll say that to him. I'll be like, this is why I'm in sales. You know what I mean? I'm like, so we're going to go ahead and get our calculators out right now because I need it. And we're going to do some quick math together.
Did you do Shakespeare? Did you
No,
have to
I didn't do any Shakespeare.
Oh, that's really good, actually. That's really hard, isn't it?
It would be
Difficult.
so hard.
Can you imagine? Memorizing. I mean, it's one thing to memorize the lines alone, and then to add that to acting and blocking and all the other crap you do as an
It's
actress.
too much for me.
Holy smokes.
I obviously love and appreciate it. Everyone does, and everyone has to read it, particularly when you're studying theater in college. But it doesn't mean you have to do it.
I took T120 down at IU.
I bet you
at Indiana
did.
University.
What'd you do?
T120 acting class.
Oh, but did you do Shakespeare?
Oh no, we did things called nonsense scenes. That's how we started. You know what that is?
No.
It was really cool. I had this partner named Lori Jones. I remember, and you basically have dialogue, right? And the dialogue has no context to it whatsoever, and you have to act out a scene that you create around the dialogue.
Oh, cool.
And everybody has the same dialogue, but then every group of partners' scenes are totally different. It's called a nonsense scene.
I
You don't know
like
what's going
that.
on.
Fun.
It was fun, but I was improv. Go figure was my thing.
Yeah, it makes
My
perfect
acting
sense.
coach said, "Yeah, you're acting like method acting, not your jam, man, but you can do this
I bet that paid off in sales,
improv
actually,
stuff."
too.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, good stuff.
Economics,
Money.
baby.
Done. We like it. All right, that's it. Mark your calendars for May. We'll do our next SEP live recording here in the beautiful state of Indiana, hopefully down at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and then lighten up about your money conversations.
Yeah.
Should be
Go
easy.
forth and prosper. You can do it, I promise.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.